Hey, what's up, Dean? Super Performance. We are back. Sens Impala. And I came in this morning, and the first thing I wanted to do was the fuel pump. So, pulled up the diagram that I had I've used before, and I swore it shows on that one. It shows it's a ground signal that the ECU puts out to trigger the fuel pump. So you run that to the ground side of the relay. But I double checked lt1swap.com, which has pinouts, has tons and tons and tons of info on there. And it actually shows it as a 12 volt signal. So it is a 12 volt trigger. So they didn't have this box wired wrong originally. They actually had it right. They had a ground wire in the relay. So I pulled the 12 volt out and I put the ground back in because I never cut it. I think that's all. Yeah, that's all I did was just swap the 12 volt signal for a ground signal. I mean, the ground signal for the 12 volt signal. No, I swapped the 12 volt wire for the ground wire and turned the key on. The fuel pump came on. You can see it's still got a little bit of pressure in it. So I solved that. That's good. It was my issue. I mean, it's not that I solved it like it was a mystery, but just I had put the wire in the wrong spot. Not a big deal. So I got that done, and then I came in the car because I want to know that I am not swapping the OBD wires. But I went ahead and started making up the OBD wires, lengthening off the plug to get it over there. So I got all of that done. I got a heat shrink, or I got to just heat up the heat shrink tubing, shrink that down, and then I can move on to these wires here that ran outside for something. They went to the C100 or C2 whatever plugs, like the factory plugs that sit under the fuse box. So I gotta fix those up and see where they go and come from and all that. I imagine they're going to the Dakota box, so I gotta look at that. And then I got the oil pressure wire that I gotta wire in. Then the only thing that would be left will be the AC stuff, which he said there's some documents in the trunk for the AC stuff. I gotta look and see if I can find that stuff. I just haven't looked yet, but yeah, I mean, that'll be it. So we're in good shape right now, and the car should start and run. I don't think I have anything. Yeah, I just got the test light on the back of the alternator because I was testing the relay. That's the way you test the ground side. If it's sending ground, you just hook to a positive with the test light and you stab whatever terminal. If it lights up, then you know it's sending the ground. If it doesn't, it's either not working or it's sending a 12 volt. So I got that done. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep plugging away on the dash wiring for the gauges, get all of that done, make sure the oil pressure works, and I got to make sure the OBD is right. I'm going to plug the OBD port back in for the dash, see what works and what doesn't work on there, see if there's any other signals we need to run to it. I got to figure out that one weird speaker wire that's in the wrong spot. I think I just got to move it. I think it's just a ground, so I think I just got to move it over. But yeah, I'm going to get working on that. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a AN line and fitting, and the line's not broke, but I have to add this regulator in So I took the Corvette style regulator off, and I noticed how the braid is like pushed up. So this fitting goes there, pours out my arm. You can see the braid is pushed out there. That is not the correct way to do it. So I had to extend the line a little bit, which there's a whole bunch of slinky slack back here. So I said, okay, cool. Pushed it over. I picked the regulator up and it literally just blew off of the hose. So now I'm basically draining the tank that, according to the gauge, is half full, in order to redo this fitting on that line. And then most likely I'm going to end up redoing that side as well. I may just grab new line, new fittings if I have it. I think I do, because I don't like the routing being that they come above the exhaust like this. I mean, it's okay, it's not ideal, and then they just slink to the middle, and then that's not good. This is my opinion of everything, but being that that line is laid on the exhaust like that, that's not good, and that's actually the return. They left the factory line in. I mean, is what it is, but I personally would rather have the lines run from these adapters. I mean, they already did a 90 on that one, but from these adapters, oh, they did a really weird. If you can see, there's an AN up in there. Then there's the quick connect to the AN adapter. But I'd rather have them run through the tank straps to the frame rail, strap it, and then go up, over, and then connect. Keeps it the majority of the way away from the exhaust. But yeah, so I am going to drain the rear end, but in the meantime, it's got the quick performance 9-inch, the disc brakes, airbag system. But you look at the trunk of the car, it is absolutely solid. Look at the floor pans on the car. This is like the undercoating, factory undercoating, but they are, I mean, this is your ideal candidate for, like, I want to buy a car and rebuild it, or, you know, do something with it. This is definitely the ideal candidate. These floors are original, 100%. I would put money on these floors are 100% original, not replaced, which is very uncommon to see. Usually you'll see the tin laid over the floor with the big spot pieces coming down. It's even got a nice drive shaft in it. So this car definitely has a bunch of money in it. And then I'll be able to zip tie all my stuff over here. But yeah, so I sent the first data log to the tuner, and he immediately said, and then I read the fuel pressure gauge, and it's like 84 or something. So I was like, ugh, I already knew what he was gonna say, and he was like, yeah, that's not good. So that's why I gotta put the regulator in. So I'm trying to get the regulator in. Probably have to change that 45 to a 90. That's gonna be the return. So I should, in theory, just be able to kind of, I have to flip the bracket on it, but just kind of mount it right here, you know, be able to adjust it, read the gauge, try and keep it as much off the e-brake cable. Okay, so before I got interrupted, I was talking about stuff. Don't remember what I was talking about, but I was talking about stuff. But yeah, the line popped, so here we are. I ended up with 2 pop lines. The fitting was barely on this one, Those are the two fittings. The feed up to the engine, even though it's got some, call it fluff, some of the braid is sticking out. It seems to be on there pretty tight. So I'm going to leave that one. But we have two brand new, I guess you want to call it a suction and a return, which we do need to do a filter. But I don't know. My stuff is acting weird. My Amazon thing is acting really weird. It's saying that I can't get delivered to addresses. So I don't know. But so I ran them from there around up into there. Trying to get it. There it goes. So up into there, across the top of the shock tower, down and looped them. Again, I'm not a big fan of this, but I'll figure out how to strap this all up somehow. But I only had a 45 for this side. I wish I had a 90, because I had to use a 90 here and a 90 there, and I only had 3. So we got a 45 on there. I'll end up bringing this up here into here, blah blah blah. So it'll be fine, but it's far enough away from the exhaust. I did notice the panhars constantly rubbing on the exhaust. Kind of is what it is type of thing. So fuel system upgraded. I mean, pretty much I've gone through everything. I have to do the boost reference line, which excuse me, I'm thinking about doing kind of a hard line for the main section, and get it up into the engine compartment, and then do like the rubber suction or vacuum line. So we shall see. I got to get this stuff zip tied over. Yeah, but it should be good. Dash is all working. RPM works. I believe the speedometer works. I haven't tried the speedometer, but that should work. And water temp works. Oil pressure works. I also cut these bolts down. This one was like super long and couldn't get a socket on it. This one was just to the point where you can get a socket on it. So I cut them down. I don't know where they went. There's one there. So I cut about 1 inch off each side. Yeah. I'm going to put the gas back in it in the morning. Key it on. Set the regulator to 58 PSI. Hook up a boost reference line. And kind of go from there. Possibly, I think what I'm going to do is, while in between tuning the car, because we're having Justin tune this car, in between loading files and sending data logs and stuff, I will start doing the AC wiring. Not a big concern as far as like having that done while it's being tuned. All the gauges work, all that stuff works. I have to disconnect the gauges to data log because of the OBD port. But I should still have oil pressure. I don't know what else. Tach, speedometer. I mean, I would imagine most everything else would still work. But yeah. So this close. This close to giving his car back. And then he just mentioned tonight that he has tickets to the Christmas tree race in Bradenton, which is put on by, I believe Cletus McFarland puts it on, but it's Bradenton and him together. I don't really know if it's them together or what, but he has tickets to go to that, and he would like to drive the car. So my goal is 100% have it ready to go for him to pick up Thursday, day after tomorrow. So that gives me plenty of time to tune it, finish up the wiring. As of right now, the tune with the data log that I sent him, everything looks good. We don't have any kind of fresh air going over to O2s that he can see right now. The map sensor looks good. Everything's reading. Intake air temps is reading. Map sensor's reading. I have some adjustments I got to do to my scanner setup. He sent all that over, which is really cool that he actually sends over the channels and stuff for me to put in, for him to be able to look at everything. But for this one, that's it. I appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of new videos, and leave me a comment. Have a good day.